Taehyung and Jungkook's seemingly simple trip to Japan raises a big question mark among the army. There are no flashy official announcements, no excessive documentation, nor full uploads of the code, as is customary to provoke theories. Precisely because everything was too quiet, the suspicion grew. Something felt different, as if two of the world's most highlighted figures were making a deliberate move away from the camera light. Army began to realize the clumsiness of these small pieces. Short appearance time, neat but almost silent movements, to facial expressions that cannot be completely hidden. Taehyung and Jungkook seem calm, but not a relaxed calm. There is a gentle seriousness. There is an unusual caution. As if they knew, one small gesture could spark a storm of speculation, and that's why they chose silence. Several fans who happened to be on site reported something similar. There's no flashy interaction, no exaggerated gestures, but there's a chemistry that feels strong even from a distance. A quick look, a rhythmic step, and the way they waited for each other without words. Everything seems natural, but that's exactly what makes Army even more convinced. This is not a coincidence, and this is not just an ordinary trip. Suspicions are further strengthened when they realize that Japan is not a random place for BTS, especially for Taehyung and Jungkook. The country holds many important memories, both professionally and personally. Many great decisions, deep reflections, and silent moments have happened there. So when these two members step back into Japan in such a closed way, it's only natural that Army feels there are layers to the story that haven't been revealed. Several theories have emerged. Some suspect they are talking about a major project that has not yet been announced, something that is too early to share with the public. Others believe it has to do with Jungkook's recent emotional state. That Taehyung, as someone very close to him, chose to accompany and provide a safe space away from the hustle and bustle of Korea. Not to hide, but to breathe. What makes this situation even more interesting is the attitude of the two after returning. There is no clarification. There was no attempt to refute or straighten out the rumors. Taehyung stays with his calm and artistic way. Jungkook stays with his meaningful silence, as if they agreed that not everything should be explained. And it was precisely there that the Army read an unwritten message. There are things that are being guarded. Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship is no secret. Their closeness is long established, built on trust, empathy, and deep understanding. When one is in a difficult phase, the other is often present without the need for many words. Japan, with its relatively private atmosphere, can be an ideal place for honest conversations that cannot be done anywhere else. The Army was torn between curiosity and respect. On the one hand, the desire to know is so great because every detail about Taehyung and Jungkook always feels important. But on the other hand, many choose to take a step back, realizing that perhaps this is a private space that is simply not intended for public consumption. Support also flows not in the form of demands, but prayers and hopes that whatever they go through can bring good. Interestingly, the less information is available, the stronger the emotional bond between the artist and the fan. Taehyung and Jungkook's silence actually makes the Army more sensitive, more reflective. Instead of just asking, what are they hiding? But also, why do they have a hiding? It was the second question that brought the discussion to a more adult direction, about boundaries, about mental health, about the right to have personal space. To this day, there is no definite answer. No confirmación, no refutación. Only the cut of the moment, the expression that caught a glimpse, and the Army's collective intuition told me that the trip to Japan had more meaning than just an ordinary agenda. And maybe that's how it should be. Not all stories have to be open now. Some just need to be lived, saved in one day, if the time is right, told. For now, one thing is clear. Army suspicions are not born of an empty sensation, but of an emotional closeness that has awakened over the years. And as long as Taehyung and Jungkook keep going their own way, Army will stay there, observing, supporting, and waiting, not with demands, but with trust. The silence surrounding Taehyung and Jungkook's trip in Japan confirms one thing. They're both in an unusual phase. Not a euphoric phase, nor a boisterous promotional period. It is a calm, yet calm phase that is loaded with meaning. Many ARMY began to realize that this reticence was not a form of avoidance, but rather a conscious choice. The choice to protect something important, whether it's a plan, a feeling, or a decision that isn't ready to be shared. Some observers of idol behavior highlighted the body language of both. Taehyung looks more reflective, often staring away as if immersed in his own thoughts. Jungkook, who was later known to be more reserved, seemed to find a harmonious rhythm when he was near Taehyung. No exaggerated gestures, no need to attract attention. There's a vague sense of security, as if they understand each other without the need to explain anything to the outside world. Speculation is moving in a deeper direction. There are those who believe that Japan is becoming a place for important discussions about the future, not just as an idol, but as an individual. When a career has reached a global peak, the biggest challenge is often no longer how to achieve more, but how to stay true to yourself. Taehyung and Jungkook are known as two figures who value authenticity very much. If there are major decisions to be made, it makes sense that they choose to do so away from the intense spotlight. ARMY also recalled previous moments when BTS chose silence before something big happened. History has proven that silence is often a harbinger of change. But this time it felt different, more personal, more emotional. Not about the buzz of the industry per se, but about equanimity. It's about keeping yourself in the middle of expectations that never stop. Interestingly, there is no aura of excessive anxiety. Instead, there is a quiet calm, as if whatever they are hiding is not something dark or worrying, but something fragile and precious. Something that takes time, space, and trust. The sensitized ARMY caught this nuance, and many preferred not to push further than on social media. The discussion began to shift. From suspicion to care. From what are they hiding? May they be well. This change shows the maturity of the fandom that grew up with its idols. Taehyung and Jungkook are no longer just public figures, but human beings who also have the right to privacy and personal process. Until now, Japan has remained the silent setting of an unfinished story. There are no exact clues, no official leaks. It's just a collective belief that whatever happens, there has significance for Taehyung and Jungkook. And perhaps that's the only thing worth knowing right now. Because in the end, not all secrets are meant to be revealed right away. Some just need to be taken care of so that they do not lose their meaning. And as long as Taehyung and Jungkook continue to tread with honesty, both to themselves and to ARMY, that trust will remain intact. Their silence is not a distance, but a pause. Pause before the next story begins.